broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
And I need more.
Hey!
Call me Steve.
Hey!
Hey! I'm a wild boy. Let's get it.
Get it cracking, son. We over here in the AFTERBUZZ studios getting it cracking.
Oh, yeah.
That's how we get down. Ladies and gentlemen, you are at the right place. This is the Catfish After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. Want to thank you for joining us. Make sure, of course, I'm your host, Lem Gonsalves. Glad to be back. I was out last week, but I'm here with my boys.
Welcome back, brother.
Yeah, man. It's good to be back. But you can follow me at The Poet Saint, and that's on Twitter and Instagram, all the social media handles. Want to make sure also that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. And man, we just ready to get this show cracking. I got my boy on my left, Mr. Jimmy V. Bear. What's up, boy?
What's the word, people? You can find me at Be Your Own Dad on Twitter, on the gram. I'm feeling some type of way this episode, so please chime in because I got a lot to say, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we got a special guest in here, and we so happy to have him
Welcome to the
here.
squad.
Yeah, Nino Llanero. What's up, boy?
What's good, y'all? My
Hey.
name is Nino. You can catch me at Nino Llanero on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
All right.
And I feel played from this episode.
Played.
I feel
Played.
played like a deck of cards.
Played. And shout out to Alexis in the booth,
Yeah.
holding down the engineering. If you want to go ahead and we got the live chat going on. She's gonna if you go on and give us some questions, or you got some some things you got to say, you got some things to get off your chest. She's gonna check it out and then give us a shout out. So shout out to her, and shout out to our song that was Machine Gun Kelly.
Shout out MGK.
MGK.
He kept it 100
Yeah.
for all my street people.
Exactly.
He kept it real. So shout out to MGK, man.
Exactly. He was a special guest on the show. So let's just jump into it.
Let's go.
Like we just said, he was a special guest. Of course, Max was out on his time. He's been out a lot this season.
My
He's
man's
doing his
been
thing.
putting in work.
I'm interested to see kind of what his films are going to be looking like. Because he's getting that work. But I'm happy for him. So he was a special guest there with Nev, and starts off like normal. They open up the email from Hundra from Philadelphia, 21 years old.
Yes.
She tells her story. She met Emily from New York on Facebook.
Yep.
I'm glad that we got it on Facebook, not MySpace.
I know, right?
Like one of the other ones.
Welcome
the really
to 2015.
Thank you. I'm so glad about that. Talking to her for about 9 months. We've seen all the time. Oh, she's in love.
Of course.
Of course, it's risky to get a hold of her, right?
That's right.
It's hard to get a hold of her. But in this particular case, she's a little bit nervous because, of course, she's attracted to a woman in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And she said because she's from a strict Haitian family, she mentions that. She said it's risky because of how they feel about, homosexuality and gender and all that in general, and all of that going on. And Jimmy, before the show, you were telling me that you're Haitian.
Yes, I definitely
And I want you to kind of chime in on that before we get cracking in it.
I come from a Haitian background, so I can relate to Hundra when she says it is definitely tight. They speak of no type of lesbian, gay. That is a no-fly zone. Okay, so I can definitely understand her when she says that, and her coming out to her family is big, because it's gonna be a lot of rejection at first, and it's just gonna take time, and then I definitely hope her family accepts her for who she is.
Right, and it's big for everyone, you know what I'm saying? If you come from an Asian American background or whatever, a really religious Catholic background, it's kind of the same thing. But she wanted to put it on TV.
She kind of went 0 to 100.
Right. And see, this is the thing that I felt interesting before, of course, we really get into it and find out what actually happened, because there was a huge flip in this episode, which I don't think anyone saw coming.
Nope.
But she basically, the way she went about doing it was very interesting. And also, my thing, if I was going to do something like this, to me, I understand, you're going against the grain of what your family or whatever is saying or what have you. My thing is, it would to go 0 to 100 like that. It seemed like it would make more sense to do it the way that, like Nev was telling her, like, why won't you talk to your family? Or like somehow present it in a way where it's not going to be so shocking. And I'm glad that he did do that damage control with her because, she's only 21. She's really young.
Much needed, yes.
And so he was like, yo, before this airs, and this was, kind of jumping towards the end of the show, but he was like, before this airs, you should definitely have a talk because you don't want them to see this. And then all of a sudden, they're like, why would you put us on blast like that?
Exactly.
Double the shock value, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, if she's trying to do good by saying this and kind of representing her culture and saying that it's okay to do this or I'm this way and I'm proud of who I am, you end up putting a bad taste and it afflicts the negative. And it's the contrary of what you're trying to do because of how you're going about doing it.
Yes, which I can say I definitely understand what she wanted to do for the culture, especially being that I am from the culture. It's just the way she went about it. It's not, that does not fly.
Yeah, it was, and we find out later. Sorry not to cut you off, Nino, but we found out later that she was very deceptive, very extremely. I'm trying not to let the cat out the bag.
The trickery,
but she was very. She was literally the worse than probably some of the catfish that I've seen. And I've seen some pretty hard catfish people that have been dishonest and kind of put these people. But to do what she did, it was really messed up. It was messed up. Nino, what were we going to say?
Once again, super played. Yes, I feel super played. But I'm saying she could have, you can come out to the world. She kept on saying, I want to come out to the world.
Right.
You can come out to the world on Facebook,
exactly.
Instagram, Twitter.
So many different ways.
But wow, national TV, I want to do it this way. This seemed like a harder way to come out.
Right.
And a more, dangerous way to come out in a sense.
Very dangerous.
Versus just putting a statement out on your social media first to your family and friends.
Sure.
And then trying to create a movement, which I think is what she wants to try to do.
Right.
Definitely not
but totally the wrong way. Totally the wrong way.
Right. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Yeah. So we get in there, and so one of the things, and this is where I kind of started not being on her side, if I can use that term. Okay. Because the first thing she said is, when we're describing like, how did you feel? You talked to her. She said she was feeling gay for a day. After getting her heart broken. She was with a guy, got her heart broken, and she said she was feeling gay for a day, so she found this girl on Facebook, hit her up, and then ended up starting a dialogue. And she reached out to, at that point, we know her as Emily, and got close to her, tried to see her. She said she got played. She sent her some money, which, we know I've seen in previous episodes that's happened. Never a good sign.
Don't do it.
Right. But, going back to the statement, it was like she wasn't respectful, in the sense of people who are or would consider to be gay or lesbian because of how she was talking about it. Understanding like she's, and we're going to get into it, but I kind of want to just jump there because it's so bad. But it's just, as she was saying these certain things, it was just interesting to find out why, and you find out later where she really is in her heart about these things. And I thought by saying these things, the way she was doing it, it was just very much in the sense like she didn't really know what she was talking about or how she was affecting people that could be associated with that.
I feel like she jumped in too far, and she was just trying to save herself the whole entire episode, and it just wasn't working out for her.
Right.
Definitely. I think I always want to revert back to, she's young, she's still trying to explore herself and trying to figure everything out. But her trying to be an advocate in this situation and her not knowing too much about the culture, of the LGBT community, it's not working out for her. Everything, she's like digging a grave like Meek Mill was digging a grave for herself.
Meek Mill.
Back to back.
Wow. Okay. Associate the Meek Mill of Catfish. That's hilarious. So we get into the story. They tell us, obviously there's super red flags after she kind of talks about what she's got going on. And then we find out also that, again, Emily has texted her from 5 different numbers in the course of 9 months. Right. First of all, for me, of course, that's going to be super red flags. The numbers aren't from New York because, of course, Emily's supposed to be from New York. She's in Philadelphia. She has 5 different numbers, but also she said she used the term being in love, and she's saying 9 months. I feel like, and we see this all the time, and some of these are longer. Some of these are 2 years. We saw one that we covered. Years. It was 10 years. Yeah. I can see, even though you don't see that person, but there's an emotional connection. I could see doing that, but 9 months. Like, come on.
She was looking for a rebound because, like she said, she just had her heart broke from this guy.
Right.
So she just needed someone to talk with, someone to actually connect with. And I feel Emily was that person.
Right. Well, I mean, she obviously was. But again, you have to separate, you know, the real from the not real in this case. And if somebody's doing all these things and you can't, I mean, she even went, didn't she go to her house at some point?
She went to New York.
She went to New York, which she thought was her house, and she wasn't even there.
No, because like, family was on a family vacation.
Exactly. So why are you, go ahead, please, please, brother, talk.
Coming from the Haitian culture, all right, we pride in saving our cash, saving our money. You filled up your gas tank. You drove to New York for no reason. You wasted all that gas. All right. I'm sorry, Lem. Go ahead.
No. I mean, there's a whole lot going on. But for me, I think that what this does for her, I think it starts to discredit her character.
Yes.
And then I start looking at her like, okay, something is not adding up, you know, with what's going on. So then we get into Nev does his detective work.
Yeah, you know, right.
Quote, right.
Google.
Does the detective work, searches the numbers, and then discovers a name by the name of Geraldine.
Geraldine, yeah.
And then it shows digging deeper, find Geraldine, and shows Geraldine with a girl named Melanie, who MGK points out, hey, he's like, that's the same girl. Those are the pictures that were being sent over to Hundra. So there's definitely a connection there. We also find out that both of these people, both Geraldine and Melanie, both live in Philadelphia, which is where Hundra stays. So there's nobody in New York at this point, right? No Everybody's in Philly. And again, so she finds this out, they find this out, and so they go to talk to her. And this is where I have another issue, because now knowing how the end result was, she felt very devastated. You remember that?
We were talking
do you remember that? Like, she was like, I gotta leave. So she leaves. Go to the bathroom. She leaves to go to the bathroom. Like, she's so hurt.
You remember that?
I
cannot wait till we get to the
she's
second half.
So hurt.
So much
like, can't she? And Nev is like, can we continue? Like, are you gonna be okay?
Right.
Excuse me. So all of that is going on, and she was acting the whole time.
Yeah, she deserves an Oscar.
I mean, that alone right there would piss me off, because it's like, you reflect back, you did all of that and none of that was real.
Right.
None of that was real.
She had us by that tug of the heartstring.
Yes.
Just like we were in her corner,
right,
like, rooting for her.
We did.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then right when everything turned around, as we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes.
Right.
Like, how did y'all feel?
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh my gosh.
Exactly. So they go in and they tell her about Geraldine. So they show her Geraldine, right?
Right.
And here's another instance where she's very rude. They show her Geraldine. It's like, this is Geraldine. She looks at Geraldine. Geraldine obviously is not, you know what I'm saying, who she thought. She looks at her. She would be considered, I guess, in Geraldine's a word, she said a stud.
Right.
And so she's not attracted to that. So what she says is, I don't want that.
Right.
Saying, it's not like I don't want her. I don't want that.
Right.
So again, there's a derogatory term, and I'm like, yo, this girl's heart is not in the right place. Something is up. And for her to say these things, because regardless of how you feel about somebody, you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be rude, and you don't have to, call names. And especially when it comes to terms like that, you're saying that you're, associating yourself as being lesbian. So this is a fellow person that you're associating with. Why would you be derogatory to them?
And thank you to MGK.
Yeah.
For, like you said, being 100, being real,
right,
and calling her out on that.
Yeah,
that's right.
And even Nev, like, why? I mean, why would you?
Right.
She's being super honest. Geraldine was being super honest and upfront. Like, I'm sorry, this is what happened.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, here comes the boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Tour.
Well, this was just her seeing the picture. We haven't even got to where we're even at the house, because there was another instance that happened, which is again crazy. So they go ahead and they get in touch with Melanie.
Yep.
And she agrees to meet with him. Now, again, in watching this show, I thought that was another interesting point, that she was so eager. Like, she was easily to get a hold of, because I'm like, wait a second, supposedly there's no connection yet.
Exactly.
She's just using the pictures.
That's right.
She's just using the pictures. So when they find it, she's like, oh yeah, I'll talk to you guys. I'll talk, I'll come by, whatever you want. So she comes in and she talks to her, and she comes in, she's like, hi, how you doing? And so they explain what's going on, and she's like, oh really? She's like, oh well, that's my ex, all this kind of stuff. She says, she says, well, can you call her? She's like, absolutely, I'll call her. Sure. I'll call her right now. Why not? And it looked like she didn't even look for the number. So she just had talked to her. You know what I'm saying? But this is an ex though. And then she calls her, gets on the phone, and then, Jalen gets on the phone and is like, oh, I don't want to talk right now. I'll talk later, whatever. But then bottom line is they do agree. Geraldine agrees that she's like, at first she's like, I don't want to do it. She's like, okay, I'll do it.
Which I do want to point out when she was speaking on the phone with Melanie, and she says, "Hey, I'm with Catfish."
Right.
She laughs on the other end.
Right.
Ha 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 ha. So now knowing what we know, it's like the plan. Things are going along smoothly.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. Like once you know what happened at the end, to see like now you look back and how these things happen where you didn't think about anything about it before, but now you're like, I see why. And the big thing for me was what I was mentioning earlier, which was her getting all distraught or whatever, which was for nothing.
Yeah,
for nothing at all. So Geraldine agrees to meet up with Hundra, and so they go to Geraldine's house. Geraldine comes out, and then you have Hundra, just looking at her like, who is this person? This is not who I thought.
I don't
all
know
this
you.
kind of stuff, right? All this stuff is going on, and then at this point in time, there's a couple of things that happen. One thing is calls Geraldine a this.
Very disrespectful.
Again, being disrespectful, not calling her a person, calling her this, and then she makes a generalization that Geraldine wants to convert a straight girl to have a notch under her belt.
Where'd she get that from?
Right.
Dude, she was on one. Like she was really on one, and I'm just like, hold up, time out.
Yep.
Like, why are you saying these things when again you're saying you associate yourself with this, with these people, with this culture? And for you to say something like that, it's almost like you're demeaning yourself. So to me, it's like you don't know what you're talking about. And not only do you not know what you're talking about, the things that you are saying are very hurtful, not to just this person, but to anyone that would associate, with that identity. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I'm very glad that Nev called her out on a couple of different, like, wait, hold on a second. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? That's not fair to say. MGK, he spoke up, you know what I'm saying, to say these things. And it was just really bad. It was just really bad. And I just couldn't believe that she was saying that.
Also too, in that same scene, we come to learn that Melanie and I'm sorry, I forget her name right now. Melanie and Geraldine were engaged. And
did
you see that tattoo on the neck?
They were ride or die.
Yes,
I'm talking about committed.
Right. No, they were super committed. Which again, as we know now, that Geraldine was going to do anything that Melanie said. Right. Yeah. If Melanie said, "I need you to jump off a bridge for this, this other girl we don't know," hey, I'll just have me some floaties on. Let me get my floaties ready. So I mean, she was going to do anything. She definitely, you could tell, like even now, them corresponding together, that Geraldine still is in love with Melanie.
Oh yeah,
by far. Yeah. Even though Melanie supposedly has moved on, Geraldine is still much in love. There was also, and I'm not going to repeat this on air, but there was also another name that she called her when she got back to the car. And
exactly.
And I just was like, yo, so at that point I was done. Like I was done with her, and I'm like, I don't feel for her at all. I think that she is not who she says she is. Like at some point, I didn't know the extent, but I'm like, something is not right here, because why again would you continue to say these kind of things? It was almost like she was overcompensating. Right. It was like, it's like when you say like a kid, and the kid is like, I didn't do that, mommy. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh, no, I think you did. And it's like, no, I didn't, because I was down here. And you start to give this long explanation of but you're just trying to overcompensate.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Of what really the truth is. Good example. I think that she was overcompensating, which is why she was saying these derogatory things. She was trying to disassociate herself completely. Like, I don't, I'm not with this person. I don't know this person. They're this, they're that. All of these kind of things.
They just thought too much and too into it,
right? To
try to make what we're going to say a story.
Exactly.
That,
Exactly.
Yep.
So they get back, and then all of a sudden, they do contact Geraldine to do their follow up like they normally do, where they try to go and find out why are you being a catfish and what's going on in your life, and they try to, they play counselor to the person, and Geraldine says, "I'm down to talk, but I need to talk to you guys by yourself.
Right.
This is when I knew something was up.
Right.
Something was
because
up.
normally they'll be the ones to kind of offer that, but the fact that she said, I need to talk to you, it was something was up. So they go back, they talk to Geraldine by herself, and then the bomb
was not ready.
Is dropped. Boom, 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 boom. We should have some like bomb dropping music. It was crazy. So the bomb is literally dropped.
Which is?
And Geraldine says, number one, she doesn't know Hundra. Those are her words.
I don't
know her. I don't know her. And they're like, wait. What are you talking about? Like, what do you don't know? What don't you know? She's like,
pause that DVR for a second.
Right, exactly.
Right?
She says, I do not know her. And they're like, wait, what are you talking about? And they say, Hundra asked Melanie to contact Catfish.
Right.
She's only talked to her for 4 weeks.
Not 9 months.
Not 9 months.
Nope.
Hello? Hello? Can Bueller, are you there?
I don't have the answer, Sway. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know.
I could not. I mean, I was like, and you could tell Neve and Max, Neve and MGK were just like,
what?
Right. Like, it was just like, hold on a sec. Because then now they're like, now she's playing us. So now they feel some kind of way. And of course, Geraldine says her whole thing is she's going to do anything for Melanie.
That's right.
So that's the point. Like, I would do anything for Melanie, which is why I decided to join in. And so she said Hundra orchestrated the whole thing to come out as gay due to her, culture, which we just mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And Melanie went along with it because she was friends with her. So my thing is, at this point, I'm like, I'd already kind of detached. I was like, I'm done with Hundra. At this point, I was feeling what they were feeling. I was like, okay, hold on a second. Because it was almost like, and I love, you could tell MGK was from the hood. I love his reaction. He's like, what? Hold on. I miss Father's Day? What? Oh my gosh, I could be with my family. I could be my kids. He was just like, this is all fake.
Exactly.
Like, because you could tell, like, at the beginning, he was really excited to be a part of the show.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? He was ready. You know what I'm saying? He had ties with Neve's brother, like all this kind of stuff.
He was all for it.
And to get this and his immediate reaction, because I think that's how something I would do. You know what I'm saying? Be like, this was all a waste of time.
I mean, especially he said I could be with my daughter on Father's Day.
Exactly. And that was a huge thing.
You know what? It was
missed a holiday.
Right. And it was that connection he had with Hundra in the beginning. He felt some type of way about her. He felt so bad for her. He wanted to help her.
Right.
And then it switches and goes around and it kind of just, busts in his face.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Man, that was all a lie.
Yeah,
like,
that was crazy.
I felt it through the TV screen. I was like, okay.
Yeah. No, those were real. That was not fabricated. That wasn't out. Producers like, hey, get mad. Like, he was
mad.
He was upset. He was upset. So they call both of the girls.
Actually, quick before we have a question from the chat.
Oh, there's a question.
We have a lot of questions from the chat.
Oh, do we?
What's up, people?
Let's get it in.
All right, so I've got 3 questions so far.
Okay.
The first one is actually the first 2 are from Joey Dawn.
Hey, shout out to Joey Dawn. That's the homie. What's up?
All right, why did Hundra get mad when they exposed her lie and drive off? That's the first question.
She was scared. She didn't know what to do anymore.
Oh yeah, she was frightened.
She ran away from her
She didn't think that she was going to get caught like that. She thought the plan was going to go according as what she wanted. She was going to get what she wanted out of it, and then that was it, and not have any repercussions. So the fact that she was exposed, absolutely. Next question.
All right, next question is also from Joey Don. How did Geraldine get Nev back to the house? I may have missed that part in the episode.
He texted her. He texted Nev. I'm sorry, right?
Neve. Yeah. She. Go back. She's like, I want to talk, but it needs to be just you guys.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So she sent him a text.
All right. Last question from Joseph Boza. Could you ask the guys what did they think Max's reaction would have been if he was there for this episode?
Max would have went.
I've been liking Max because he's been getting realer every episode. So I definitely think he'd have been as turned up as MGK was.
Right. I definitely think so too. Max would have that camera would have been put down. He would have to go outside for a second and breathe and take a break.
Yeah. Well, I think too, and Max, obviously MGK, like you said, we from the hood. He was yelling at the car. I don't think he was like,
hey, yo.
right.
Shout out MGK.
You whack. You a sucker. Yeah, exactly. Corny. You corny. That was the best one. That was the best one. But I think Max would have been equally as upset. He would have had words. He wouldn't have said it in that way. He would have said it in the Max way. But Max will clown, like even before Neve. Like Max would be like, hold on a second. nah, that don't make sense, and you're also evil. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Max does not play, so he definitely would have went in. And I kind of wish he was there just to kind of see what he would do, because the one thing is he does not like, you know, whether they're gonna get played or whether, you know, when the catfish, like, he really goes in on the people that are catfishing the people. Like, he really like, yo, you really need to understand what you're doing. Like, he really gets in there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it'd have been interesting to see what he said. But yeah, shout out, thanks for those questions.
Definitely, people.
Thanks for those questions. So going back to where we were, we got them both coming back to the house, right?
Yep.
And so yeah, it goes down. So you have Melanie walking up.
Shout out to Melanie with the actress award.
Right.
She came in character.
She was ready. Boy, she was ready. And then yeah.
I know, right?
She
you
was
got
ready.
yourself a career.
That was so hilarious. Because I was like, I knew they were like, we're gonna see how this plays out.
Exactly.
Let's just let them talk. You know.
Look at you.
Right. Exactly. So you got Hundra over to the side, like, you know, waiting on her cue, and then right, she's waiting on her cue, and you got Melanie like on the right. How could you do this?
Talk to me.
Oh my gosh!
Say something.
Can you get it together? Like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, I love Geraldine. Geraldine's like, it's over. It's over. And she's like, and your face is like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean it's over? Like, we're already broken up. Like, no, it's over. Like, the gig is up. Like, the jig is up. It's done. And so at that point, then, you know, Nev steps in and is just like, yo, y'all played us.
Exactly.
This is all bad. And so, and I thought it was interesting, and I'm glad he asked, because he asked specifically to Melanie. He's like, what did you get out of this?
Right.
Like, was there a blackmail situation? Like, why would you go and do this for her, somebody that you don't know? And that's when we find out how Melanie kind of got played in a sense, because Hundra came to her, like we were saying earlier before the show, probably with the intentions that, hey, I need help. I want to come out, but my family is strict. I think the best way to do it would be on the Catfish show. I think I'd get the best reception. Can you help me? I just want to do this. And I think Melanie was just like she said, she wasn't her best friend, but she was a friend. You know,
exactly.
And so her thing is like, oh, okay, well, that sounds like a good reason to be deceptive. Yeah. So sure, I'll do it, and then I'll get my girl Geraldine, who will do anything for me. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I got her
right.
on a string.
She'll do that, and then it's all good. So I feel, I mean, even though Melanie and Geraldine both knew they were doing wrong, I still blame the orchestrator was Hundra, and I still blame her, and she was the one, because both Melanie and Geraldine were also, when they found out like how everybody felt, they were like remorseful.
Right.
They were like, yo,
totally bad.
I feel bad. This is not the intention. This is, we had false pretenses. And then you got Hundra over there like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm leaving. And then left. And then that's when MGK was about to fly into her car. Snatch her up. You're going to say something?
What about that, like, the point where they looked like little girls being scolded by their dad?
Oh, yeah,
exactly. They were just like, this was just a bad idea. This is, you should have done it this way. Why did you do this? You could have done this a different way.
Right.
And they were just looking like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I apologize for this whole thing, But
I really don't think, because obviously they wouldn't have found out if Geraldine didn't say anything. So it was on Geraldine to say something. And because, she her conscience, I'm sure, was just getting to her, because she was just like, and I think, to be honest, this is, again, my little hood intellect, you know what I'm saying? But I think that because of the words and the choices that Hundra was making, you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The generalizations that she made, the name calling that she did, because she spoke on that. She's like, yo, you hear her? She's talking, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I think that kind of called off. You feel me?
No, Geraldine was not with it.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be portrayed like that.
Exactly. And I think that kind of made her be like, why am I doing this? Right. This person doesn't even respect me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or respect what I'm about, and I'm going to sit up here and lie for her and put my neck on. Nah, I'm good.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think she kind of caught that, and because of the way she acted, and that's why she kind of, spilled the beans.
No doubt.
So, interesting part. Another thing is, and I'm thinking, again, I'm kind of the guy that's like silver lining. Hundra was terrible for what she did. She's going to understand. She's going to get it. No. They go to talk to her.
She still didn't care.
They're like, yo, Nev is like, hey, how you feel? She's like, not good. He's like, let's talk about it. He's, getting into his mode. He's like, And all of a sudden she's like, I do not apologize for what I did.
And she asked to come to talk to him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just want to talk to you alone.
Yeah.
And you thought she was going to be a little bit more
Exactly.
Totally not.
She said she doesn't apologize for what she did, and she said that's what she felt like she needed to do.
Once again, she stated, I wanted the world to know that I was gay. And she was kind of still, I'm not too sure if I am.
Right.
I'm going to go now, now that everybody knows. So she just went overboard.
Yeah, right. It was all bad. And she said, she pitched it to Melanie because she needed the help, and Melanie agreed. But like I said, I said before, I think she mentioned it under different pretenses. I don't think they understood what she was trying to do or orchestrate her to the full extent. Bottom line is the fact that after everything was done, you know what I'm saying, she still felt that way. And then even going further, when they do the follow-up, this is 2 months later.
2 months later, yeah.
2 entire months. She's had 2 months to think about what she's done, how she acted, you know what I'm saying, all that kind of stuff. And then to see that she still was unapologetic. That floored me, because I'm like, yo, like at some point in time, you're going to be like, it's like, when you commit a crime, at first you're just like, oh, I'm just sorry I got caught,
Yeah.
And then when you're in jail and you're sitting there for a while, you're like, yo, this is terrible. I don't want to do this no more. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? And you have a different perspective. She did not. And I just could not believe that.
And I thought she was giving MGK some type of attitude, because MGK
of course she
was there the whole time, helping her out, speaking with her. And then when things flipped, obviously he felt some type of way. But 2 months later, she was still giving him that same type of attitude. And that's not cool.
He did not pay her no mind. He was like, okay.
Yep. He was like,
oh no, he was done with
took the high road.
Yeah, he could have said a lot more. I think that because he was already done with her from Jump, and then coming back and then to see, and especially the line she said she got MGK on TV. First of all, wait a second. There was so many timeouts. There's so many timeouts.
You don't know what you're talking about.
So many timeouts.
Oh my.
I could not believe I'm like, wait a second. First of all, he's the celebrity. He does music. I mean, he's a rapper. He toured. Like, what are you talking about? I got him on TV. Like, because you were falsifying a catfish?
Exactly.
Like, are you serious? But I think that just shows how delusional she is.
Right.
She's just a delusional person and does not get it. And I think a lot of these people that, not on her end, but usually on the catfish end, they're very delusional. They live in this fantasy world that they think they're okay until they're exposed. And in most cases, I think, for what we see on the show, they find out, they're like, they follow up with them. They're like, yeah, I messed up. I'm not doing that no more, blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of on this path now or whatever. But to see her, who, like I said, fabricated this whole story, got these people involved, wasted basically people's time and energy and focus to do this, and to still be like, I don't care. I did what I wanted to do.
No remorse at all.
Wonder. So I don't know.
I think it's deeper too. She has so much going on with what she's feeling. She doesn't know. She thinks she's lesbian. We really don't know, because she seems like she still doesn't know in a sense. Or whatnot.
No. Yeah. She's unsure.
Right. And it's still deeper. It's that, I think, and it's a lot more other things, because we just see it in her attitude that there's something else that keeps her demeanor the way it is, where she can't think back and reflect and see everything she did on the show. And I would be super embarrassed, like, okay, my parents, my family, and everyone's gonna see me just do this on TV, mess up, and be so desperate, when I could have easily come to them and or like I said, social media, and put it out that way.
Right.
No remorse, no nothing. Something's deep. It's
sure.
deeper.
Oh, absolutely. And I think in a lot of cases, there's deep-rooted issues that people have. It's interesting that with this particular episode, we never got to meet her parents. Her parents were never involved.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot with, and especially the fact that she felt she needed to do it this way for the sake of the family. So there could be some deep-rooted issues within her immediate family.
Definitely.
She kept mentioning the culture. I mean, there's a lot of things going on that she has, struggles that she has within herself that she needs to deal with. And she needs to get it together. I have a question for you all, though. Okay. And we were kind of hinting on this right before the show. We see that with the season, they've kind of taken some really twists and turns with the episodes.
Yeah.
Prior, it was kind of like you can kind of map out how the episode's going to go. It kind of had a cookie cutter response, you know what I'm saying? But it seems like these episodes have been vastly different. And I kind of feel like they're trying new things, or the stories, the way they're playing out, they're maybe being, a little more different in how they air it. We see that obviously there wasn't a real catfish going on. There was a fabrication. I feel like that this has happened before.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen it yet. So do you think that it's a situation where they're airing it because they want to diversify how they're showing the episodes?
I definitely 100% agree with you. I feel like they wanted to give the viewer a different look at what they go through, because we always see the actual cat fishes, but at the same time they probably get numerous responses. They've probably have had whole shows done of it being fake, and we just don't know how many actual shows they actually do have.
They air.
Yeah.
And it's season 4 too. You know what I mean? They want to flip the script a little bit.
Sure.
So all the different ways that we kind of see it in this season on how they're approaching different things.
Right.
I think they're kind of trying to see if there's another maybe if there's another formula, or if it's just it's a good way to see for the audience to kind of see it from different perspectives versus the straight cookie cutter episodes that we always see.
Sure.
So, I mean, it caught my attention like the whole time.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
oh
So-
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and like I said, and we're supposed to have a special guest next week, so make sure you tune in for that, because we're gonna get really some insider information. So I'm really excited because I have a lot of questions about how the show operates. But I will say, I think I'm positive that something like this has happened. Maybe not to this degree, but I mean, obviously, you know, they're getting emails upon emails about please help me, and they start, you know, filming shows and they find out different things that they just can't air. So I just think it's interesting that they decided to air this episode, because they could have not, and then it just never, you know what I'm saying? But it was interesting how this played out, and just basically to show how people are, you know, and people just
I like that, though.
are starving for attention. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And will basically just not care about anyone else but themselves,
Right.
just for the sake of, you know, whatever their agenda is, making sure that's fulfilled.
And in Hundra's case, I know what she was trying to do, in a sense where she was trying to make a statement in a movement or whatnot.
Right.
But the badness obviously overshadowed that situation, just like
Exactly.
they said.
Exactly.
It just wasn't the right way to go
Exactly.
about it.
Definitely.
Well, there it is. Do we have any more questions?
Nope, they're just all talking to each other.
Awesome, because
All right.
it's so crazy.
Right.
You know
Well,
what I'm
it's cool.
saying?
Keep the conversation going.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
absolutely. And make sure you can always, I mean, this episode will go on YouTube tomorrow, so make sure you comment on the YouTube channel. If you have any questions of your own, we can possibly, you know, use them to ask for our special guest next week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to have. So if you have any questions about the show itself or this episode or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You want to find out where Jimmy got his shirt, you know, anything like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can let us know. Make sure you do that. That is our episode, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank you for tuning in. We want to thank you for commenting. We want to thank you for being a part of what we do here. I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves. You can find me on social media at The Poet Saint, and that's on all social media handles, Twitter, Instagram, everything you got. Jimmy, where can they find you, sir?
It's your boy Jimmy V. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, at Be Your Own Dad, on Periscope. I am there. Hit me up always after. I'm down to talk. What's up?
Absolutely. Nino!
And once again, you can find me at Nino Llanero on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and Periscope too, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I love
We
it.
live.
Periscope.
Shout
There
out
it
to
is.
Periscope.
Shout out to Periscope. All right, man. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.